Okay.
Russell, how are you?
G'day. G'day.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, blokes.
I've muted the OPN office at the moment because they're having their own Brisbane chat up there.
Okay.
Stuart,
Oh, g'day, Matt.
Stuart, can you make Russell a co-host, please?
Hey, Russell, how you going?
G'day. How's everybody been going? Ate too much chocolate?
A little bit of that.
Okay, let me check. All right. Devices. Can you hear me okay through this mic?
Yep.
Okay, how about this one?
No
Got
difference.
anything?
There we go.
Got any preference, one or the other?
Nope.
Sound identical to me.
Okay. Okay, I'll stick with the camera, I think. Okay. You let us know, Patrick, when
So we'll just
when
give
you're
it a
ready.
couple of minutes for some
Okay.
things to come in.
Okay.
If the Brisbane office want to throw in any questions, you can unmute yourselves again. I've just knocked you out because of the.
Yep. How does that look?
Good.
Ah, okay. Okay. Can you see that change?
We're still on the home dashboard.
Okay. Are you looking at a presentation or?
No, we're on the Dev Altac.
Okay.
So,
Okay. The sharing's gone a little bit. Right, I got it. New share. Okay, I see. No?
yeah, you probably got to stop sharing and then share again.
How's that?
We're still looking at. Oh, yeah, we got PowerPoint or LibreOffice or something else.
Yep, that's right.
Um,
How about that?
and now the coffee website.
Okay. Okay, they've changed the screen sharing, but
Unlike to change a feature.
sorry, I'm just navigating my way around the screen shares.
That's right.
It's a little new to me.
So you got around Bitdefender there, Robert?
No. I had to log out and come back in again. Thanks.
Okay. I think I'll settle for that. Okay, whenever you're ready, Patrick. Thank you.
All right, good evening and welcome to another episode of the Joomla Australia Virtual User Group. Tonight we have Russell Searle from SciComm running us through what he's been doing recently with Joomla 4, Virtuemart 4, and the Virtuemart UI kit, which I think a number of people that are Yootheme Pro users. Keen to see, because it's a hot topic at the moment, or in the last couple of months, where we've been talking about Yootheme Pro and various e-commerce platforms for Joomla, and whether they're up to date or not. So I'll hand over to Russell, and welcome and enjoy the evening.
Cool. Welcome, everybody. I'll rip into it. So I'm trying to keep this short and sweet. There's a lot of content, but I will try and keep it low key. As everybody knows, I've been involved with Virtuemart. In fact, I've been rusted on since 2012. And over all those years, it's really lasted the distance and gone from strength to strength, I would have to say. At this stage, well, really, there hasn't been a point in the last 12 years where I thought to myself that I was on the wrong tram. It's hung in there, so I'm very happy about that. So here at Virtuemart's now, for about a year now, has been in production on Joomla 4. And the latest set of updates to the product stack for Virtuemart 4, together with VM UI Kit, really, I think, fits it for the current marketplace, the current design and technical standards, and they really make it, I guess, a premier Joomla 4 product. And certainly the stuff that you can do with it now is just, I hoped for it. Many times over the years, I hoped for it, but I haven't really had it in my hands until now. But now I think it's just crossed the line. It's done really well. So to start off with, I'll just detail the VM4 stack just very quickly, show some demos, and then I'm going to go into depth on a current project that I've been working on for about the last 6 months. So the stack's not too hard. Here's Joomla, which is the platform that everything else runs on. Virtuemart runs directly on Joomla. VM UI Kit X is effectively a mediation layer between VM4 and the Yootheme family of products. And really that means UI Kit with YT Pro on top as the providing the page builder and Joomla theme support. And then over the top of everything, as far as the user is concerned, is Yootheme, which provides styling and content delivery for the whole Virtuemart data set, you could say. And it also provides theming and structure, engineering, that type of thing for native Joomla content. And in principle, that includes any application that runs on Joomla. But then, you're going to need some sort of mediation layer. You will need a translation layer for other products, and they exist. They're being built in. So Virtuemart at this stage has a new front and back end. It's much faster. Handles higher volume sites, probably a couple of orders of magnitude more than it used to. And it's improved in very many areas. It is now effectively a licensed product with the latest release. And it's long past time that happened, really, but the move to a form of licensing, basically site licenses, I think is well and truly overdue. It should put the product on a better funding basis and should really improve the level of support and the level of resources that can be put into the product itself, as well as the third-party market. In the latest release of Virtuemart, we also have something that I have been using on sites for a few years, something called the Advanced Ship by Rules Shipment Method plugin, which is a very sophisticated piece of work, and it really helps in the area of shipment integration from product delivery through to delivery to the customer. As I said, VM UI Kit X is a mediation layer. It provides a couple of things. It provides VM4 elements for the Yootheme builder. So when you're working on pages in the Yootheme builder, you can see constructs that come out of VM4 and you can put them on pages in blocks. You can get at the data behind them. You can style them. You can do the things that the Yootheme builder does. And in addition to that, VM UI Kit X also provides some VM content for native Joomla 4. There's a bunch of Virtuemart modules that VM UI Kit styles, and there's also a whole range of template overrides that we will have a quick look at on the way through. So those are the elements of the product set. I have worked on 3 pretty big sites, pretty significant sites with this stack over the last 6 months. The first one was Coffee Tech, and that came through to me from Jared Fletcher. It's a bit of a story. Coffee Tech commissioned a group called no, well, I won't name them, commissioned a group to do the original design and to do page layouts for coffee machines that they had for hire. They also wanted an online shop to sell consumables. And the agency that they hired didn't actually know how a shop works. They didn't have that capability on their team. They had a guy who thought that Virtuemart was a good bet, but the design team themselves couldn't follow through on it. So I ended up picking up the job at that point. So I've inherited the design and built the shop inside it and around it. One of my own customers is an industrial company called Alltac, and I have a Joomla 4 site underway for them, fairly close to delivery now, and that's where I'll be focusing the attention. And then there is another site, a massive site called Marnong Estate, and Matt Meehan did the design work on that and did a great job on it. And my domain within this site is strictly limited to the shop and only very occasional contact with the shop at that. But I'll just show you that and give you a bit of a flavour of these sites, just so you have some idea of the sorts of results that they can produce. Here's Coffee Tech. There's a lot of good content on this, high-class design work. Nice layouts, a bit too busy for my taste, but the customer loves it. Here is the shop section of the site. They like this. They want to feature their high turnover consumables right up the top of the page. Got a bit of text here, and then a grid. And this grid consists of the top level categories of the shop. And you will see that from the back end. Basically, in order to get a shop to run on Joomla, you essentially only need to provide one menu item, and Virtuemart will take over from there. But VM UI Kit and Yootheme Pro let you customize all the pages that Virtuemart produces as though they were articles. So we will look at that from the back end. We're in the coffee category. Reserve blends is a subcategory. And here are the actual products. You can go to the detail pages. They've got some custom field text here and here, related product galleries. Okay, so basically every product in Coffee Tech's catalog has a related product gallery, and that helps a fair bit with upselling and that type of thing. Here's good old Virtuemart's add to cart, but this doesn't look anything like a native Virtuemart product page. It's been customized with in the Yootheme Pro Yootheme page builder, basically working on Virtuemart content provided via VM UI Kit X. Okay, so I'll just add to cart, and I have related products come through on the grid. So I can go to another product, add that to cart as well, or add this one just straight off the grid. And here is my cart. I'm already logged in on this site, so it knows everything it needs to know about me. It's just simply a matter of just, the calculations have been done, the shipment method has been figured out. It's all very smooth. Here we have an account page, account maintenance page, styled again by VM UI Kit X. VM UI Kit X provides this content to native Joomla, not to Yootheme Pro, but to native Joomla. And the same with the order page. That's my order history. Okay, so VM UI Kit X is intervening on this page between Virtuemart and native Joomla. Here's the Marnong Estate site. This is just, this is just a gorgeous site. All the photography, the subtle touches, carousels. By now, of course, goes to this site's shop page. Looks better than mine, but it works the same. Okay. Differently styled, again, by the VM UI Kit X and by the Yootheme page builder. And the rest of this site is just great content, all built in Yootheme Pro. It's a great facility, a great venue, and an extensive, quite an extensive catalogue of products. The shop, I think, has got some distance to go yet, certainly before I would be happy with it. But as far as the design is concerned, you couldn't ask for more. Here's our cart. Take that away. Okay, so I'll get on to the version 4 site that I've been working on. Where are we? Here we are. Okay, can you all see that? Have we got a Joomla 4 admin? Yep. Oh, everybody's off. Okay. Okay, this is a private site. It's online in all tax development space. So I need to log on to it. This is what the site looks like. And this site also has a bit of a history. It's like the Marnong Estate site and like the Coffee Tech site in some ways, it's in two halves. You've got content on one side, and YT Pro is obviously the design tool for that. And you have shop data on the other hand. And now YT Pro is also the design tool for that. So let's just have a quick look at the shop. Okay. It's loaded a cart from earlier today. This has got some way to go. As I say, they have their main categories, this company, is things called ground surface indicators, tactile indicators, those, things that they're put onto stairs, accessibility stairs. Sorry. Oh. Okay. This type of thing. These grids, these strips, and sometimes individual metal surface indicators. They're meant to be tactile. People with limited or some kind of sensory difficulties are meant to be able to cope with these things, and Alltac does a lot of work fitting ramps, fitting navigation types of things to various different buildings. This is what they do all over the country. Okay, so back to the shop. Tactile indicators is their big product line. If we click on that category, we're looking at a page. Let's just go back to the shop, to the main shop. It's a template, and it has its own template, this site, which I have called Shop Home. And here you can see the layout. There's the page title, this banner up the top, and here's where we get to the business end of it. Main categories. What displays here is a grid of the main categories in the Virtuemart shop. Here they are: tactile indicators, stair nosings, cable covers, anti-slip tapes. Here they are. Because we say that this is set up to provide a grid of subcategories of the main category, that's what you get. And what am I showing in this grid? The title comes from the category title. The category in this particular case, the first one of these cards is a tactile indicator. So that's the title of that category. The image comes from the category. Okay, how does that work? Okay, the data for this grid is dynamic content, and the dynamic content is a VM category. Okay, which by default will be the top level category. But the way this is set up, this particular content type, which again is coming, is provided by VM Kit X. Okay, the data's just coming through from the database as though it were articles, and you can get at all the various different elements of that. So firstly, we want a main category, which is a root of the shop. The root of the shop is called Shop Online. And we want the subcategories of that category. So we get tactile indicators, stair nosings, anti-slip tapes and cable covers. Okay, and that's all there was to producing that grid. Now I've got a link here called products. So that's link. Okay, so, and the link that I'm after is this one here, which belongs to the category, and the category is the content type for this page and for, for this element of it, for this block of it. It all fits together like that. Okay, and I can provide the usual stuff in the builder, what I want the product to say. This link will go to wherever the category link goes to, and a category link goes to a gallery of products, it goes to a family of products. So we click on this guy. Okay, we end up at a different page, which again is a template. A template called subcategory products. I have two different templates for a gallery of products. This one, because I know that this particular type, this particular category has subcategories, as well as having products that it can display, regardless of category. So I got this element here, okay, is a thing called subcategory products. It is a grid, and its content, again, is VM subcategories. Comes from the category title. The category on this page now is tactile indicators, as you can see in the breadcrumbs. Okay, so now in this element here, this vertical grid, okay, we have the subcategories of tactile indicators. And there's subcategories that we can see in this shop. Stainless steel studs, stainless steel flats, plastic studs. This is called plates. Sorry. Bear with me for 1 second. There's some complexities in here. What's the title? The category title. I didn't just leave it at that. My categories were called stainless steel plates and so forth. So in the shop, the customer insisted on having all tack with the registered trademark in the title of the category. That didn't suit my display. So I'm searching for the all tack, the registered trademark here, and replacing it with nothing. So I get plates instead. And I have used the same trick on all of these things here to truncate the category titles that show up. So you got a grid here, which is pretty simple and which has plain English terms and has been stripped of the stuff that that basically gets in the way for the purposes of this particular display. Serious plates. Once we click on that, it is a category link, and the category will take us to the products within that category, serious plates. Once again, we've gone to a template, different template. This is not subcategory products, because I've gone to a category now which has no subcategories, it only has products. So I have a different template for that. I don't want to show the grid down here. I only want to show the gallery. I don't have a grid to show of subcategories. I only have the gallery. And this element here is provided by VM UI Kit X. This is a VM grid. Once again, we've got some data. It's dynamic data. VM category products. In other words, the products of the current category, which is Altec Serious Plates. Okay, our data comes dynamically from the data that's available in the grid. YT Pro knows that this effectively knows that this is a grid of products. Okay, so products is the data, and you can now just basically select what you want from that data. Okay, the short description goes into the content area. That's this bit here. The image is the product image. The link is a link to the product. That's the details bit there. Add to cart is an add to cart element from the product. The product has all this stuff which is defined on products. Let's go find one. Okay. And by the way, we are now looking at Virtuemart 4 from the back end. Virtuemart 4 looks different than it used to do. You may be used to the old blue and white layouts. It now has a new admin backend, which we are looking at. This is Bootstrap 5 styled. Eventually, I'll be adding related products to these products as well. But I'm just having a conversation with the customer about that at the moment. So this is all the product definition from Virtuemart. If you want to navigate your way around the product, you have either a fly-out panel like this, or you've got an insert panel that shows up like that, and yet that's persistent until you take it away. Whereas the fly-out panel is just basically for picking a different menu option. Looks better, looks different. While I'm here, I have the lovely Advanced Shipping by Rules plugin, which Max Milbers, the project lead of the Virtuemart project, rescued for me. This plugin essentially provides you with some very good expression handling syntax where you can logically determine shipment charges based on any number of attributes of the whole basket, not just the products in it. Shipment plugins intercept the entire contents of the cart, and this plugin is capable of picking up any of the attributes of the cart and some summary attributes, doing calculations, doing logic, doing external calls if necessary, looking up tables, as I have done with this one here. This one actually runs an external function that looks up shipment rates and charges in a custom table on Joomla, and it comes back with a charge. That's very sophisticated. The standard Joomla weight, this one here, which is based on shipment by weight, zip and countries, has very simple and in many circumstances quite limited. If you really want precise shipment information, or in particular, if you want to interface with a third-party shipping service, the standard method wouldn't do it. But Advanced Shipping by Rules will do it. You could use this, for distributed shipping through a pool of shipment companies if you wanted to. You could offer round robin. You could offer bidding for particular shipments meeting particular criteria. You know, you could have automated bidding by APIs on shipping company sites if you wanted to do that. So I'm really pleased to see that come back into the product. It was written by a very smart guy called Reinhold Kainhofer back in around about 2014. He abandoned his entire product suite known as Open Tools, Open Dash Tools. He abandoned them when he won a corporate job, and I believe that he is now a vice president at Deutsche Bank, and good luck to him. But all his products for Virtuemart became orphans, and I am glad that we have been able to rescue this one because it's just a great piece of work. So after that diversion, sorry about that. So add to cart, this add to cart link is simply another attribute of the product. As you see, this is the add to cart attribute of the current product that we're looking at. In other words, the product in this card, in this grid. You can add to cart. Now, when we show the cart, all of a sudden, Yootheme doesn't know what we're dealing with. The reason for that is because this is a custom page provided in the VM Kit X product set. It is a specific function, one-page checkout function. It is plugged into Virtuemart as a one-page checkout so that Virtuemart knows to hand a whole cart over to it and allow it to deal with the checkout process. So in this cart, I've got a previous order. And here's a product that I just clicked on, that I just added to the cart. The shipment method has figured out that this shipment has such and such a weight based on the weights recorded on the products. And it does a calculation using factors and a method provided by toll freight. So a calculation for the toll freight charge for this particular weight package is done. And that is the fee that toll freight will actually charge for this shipment. If it were being shipped to Wayne Kelly in Noosa Heads. But there you are. So and the cart, I should say this is Joomla Pro's one-page checkout plugin, which is packaged with the product because you just have to have it in a shop. So that's one of the custom functions that VM Kit provides to Joomla, not to Yootheme, but to Joomla, along with the orders page, the accounts page, account maintenance, profile page, and a bunch of other, basically any content type that Virtuemart can produce. VM Kit has some handlers for. It provides overrides for these things, and I will show you those, where those overrides are in detail, because it's a factor. It's a factor in building the site. Okay, so we go back to the shop, and now Yootheme knows where we are again. Down here, we've got a section of featured products. And again, the grid is full of this is a VM grid provided by VM Kit X. And the same tactics work. You specify your data source, and then you simply populate the elements in the card with the data from the data source. And you do all this stuff here, whichever bits you want to show. Okay, so what are they anyway? Let's have a quick look at that. Here in the elements palette, we have all the standard basic stuff. We've got multiple items, including the native grid, and a lot of this stuff, like particularly custom HTML, works with Virtuemart content coming through from VM Kit X. Here's system stuff. Here's some third-party things that I use occasionally, but here is what VM Kit provides. It provides that add to cart button, which you can put anywhere on any page, provided it has context for what product you want to add to the cart at that point in the site. This is a VM category. Okay, so you can put that element somewhere, and you get category data that you can style in the builder the way you want it. There is a category grid. There is a standard VM grid. There is a VM product grid. The difference between the VM category grid and VM product grid, these are for fixed products. If you ask for a VM product grid, you'll have to specify exactly which product you want to show, or which products you want to show in that grid. But if you ask for a plain old VM grid, then you can have a grid of product data, but it can be, the contents can be dynamically determined by the page that you happen to be on, or the category you happen to be in, the product that you happen to be looking at in the current context. So this one's dynamic, these ones are fixed. And I think that applies to VM add to cart too. Okay, so on the product pages, that's what the page looks like. Just a detail page, bit of stuff here, pricing, add to cart button, some spinners, and a button here called data sheet. Now, I said that this site came in two halves, that there was a content half to it and a shop half. Well, we've seen the shop half of it. The content part of it is not like Coffee Tech or Marnong Estate. This is an industrial site, a trade site, if you like, and these, the customers for this kind of material are not big on text. They're not big on a lot of descriptive information. They're big on data. So if I ask for serious TGSIs, what I see is basically a spec sheet, which I am calling a data sheet for this product. There's the image. Okay, here's descriptive information, sizes available, compliances, ratings and tests, various different features from an industrial point of view. I can download a spec PDF for it. And I can also hit an order now button, which takes us to the shop. Okay. We'll just go back and have a look at that. This is not a shop product. This is an article. See that? The template builder identifies that it is serious plate detail template. How would we know that? Because of the category. Okay, everything works on categories. And that includes Virtuemart categories as well as article categories. So let me quickly show that. These articles, these text articles, more or less line up with Virtuemart products. They were part of the original design. Okay, serious plates. Got to find it. Hang on. There we are. One document. TPA SIR, that's the product code. And here is the document that provides that content. There's the description, which is that bit. Can you see my mouse? I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor or not. Yes, can? Okay. All right. So, whoops. Let's just get them side by side. Okay. So there's the description. Images and links. The intro image is this little guy here, and the full article image is this one. So that's the full article image. Am I sure? There's an image. And what is it? Here, I'm getting this data from an article. And the article, as it happens, is selected by the menu item. It selects this article. Okay. So when we go back to the menu settings, you will see that it is set for a fixed article. In fact, I will. Okay. Serious TGSI. Single article. This one. TPA SIR. Okay, so here we have our images. Now over here, I've made use of the linking attributes to link this content, firstly to its PDF, and secondly to the shop page that I want the Order Now button to go to. So this button here, that guy, we've got two of them. This is the download spec PDF button, as you can see, with an icon. All right. And the link that it goes to is a dynamic link, link A in the article. That's that. And I only need to provide relative links. If you look down the bottom left, you will see that the site, the domain and site is prepended to this. And we are going to images, products, TGSI, blah, 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 down to a PDF, just as the link says. So when the button is hit, voila, you get a PDF. This button here, the Order Now button, is a second content type for the button element. Its title is Order Now, and its link is link B, which goes to shop online, tactile indicators, all tax serious plates. Hey presto. So we have gone from the spec sheet to the product category display. Category is all tax serious plates. Yootheme knows this. It also knows that it's a single category product. How does it know that? Because I told it the category to look for. Okay, and this time these are categories these are VM categories. These are not article categories. So what we've got is we've got this site feeding content across to the shop. And in a second, I'll show you how it comes back again. Okay. So I will go back. Have I left anything out? No, okay. Okay, so what you're seeing now is you're seeing shop data integrating with content within the context of an article. Now, a lot of this stuff here is other stuff. This is not standard article content. It certainly doesn't show up here. I have defined a group of custom fields called architect, which can live on certain types of documents. can live on certain types of articles. And those articles, again, are selected by categories. Where are we going? We got some questions here. Somebody's been to Kings Park. Okay. They told me today that they had just finished Amy Stadium, which is pretty cool. I'm hoping to get some photos and a case study out of them for that. All right. So we got custom fields defined here. One for description, sizes, compliance, rating, features. Description, sizes, compliance, rating, features. Okay, so this piece here, this is text. Okay, that's rating from the article group, from the architect group in the article. Whoop, wrong thing. So the article that we're dealing with on this page, again, selected by the menu item, has an article group and the fields that I want to pull out that I've stored on the document. And in addition to that, I can get content from anything that's current on this page. The current category, which would be an article category, not a Virtuemart category. Attributes of the session, the author details. Okay, so that's how you put this together. That's how this page works. When I hit order now, I go to the shop. I'm going to pick any one of these products. I've given myself another button called Data Sheet. We are now in a template, a product detail template. If we fire up the builder on that, then Data Sheet is here. In fact, there are two buttons. And this, I think, is where I've done some fairly good work. The first button, Data Sheet for Category, comes from VM Product Details. That product is this one, TPA SIR 120YE. Okay. Content. In this case, this is fixed. It's just a fixed term, but the link that it goes to, I've done another workaround here. On the Virtuemart categories, I've taken over the description field to provide a link back to the data sheet, which is effectively the category document. Okay, it's effectively standing in for the category description. You'll see that in just a split second. Where's it? Where is my shop? Virtuemart. Categories. The category that I'm dealing with is all tax serious plates. Here we see the description, and it is a simple URL with no paragraph tags or anything. I had to use plain text for this. That's the description, okay, which is a relative link, just like the relative link you saw on the articles. If we have a look at how that translates, the router, if you can see down the bottom left-hand corner, the router makes that sort of long form link to an article reference. The router makes that into the SEF friendly link Sirius-TGSI, if you can see that down in the bottom left. So the link takes us back to the data sheet for the product set, which has now effectively become the category description document for the shop. It's an artifact in its own site, and the customer has uses for these things, and that they want to extend them. But on the one hand, we've got a link here that goes directly to the shop, and that's encoded in link B in the article. On the other hand, we have a link on the product back to the data sheet. Sorry, I meant to show that in a little more detail. Okay, now that is the data sheet for the category. But there were some cases, because it's a messy catalog, there were some cases where there were individual products within a category that they had done specific data sheets for. And I had to allow for that. So we want to link back to the data sheet at a category level, but for 2 or 3 specific products, I needed to provide a link at the product level. Okay, so very similarly to the category, okay, we get our link, but this time the data sheet link comes from the product and it's a custom field defined on the product. So we can go and find a product, this one that we've been looking at, or any of them really, they're all the same. The category has the link back to the datasheet article from here. So I didn't need to provide a custom field. Sorry, it done that stupid JavaScript thing that it does. Okay, here is my custom field, which I can apply to articles. So sorry, to products. Okay, and here I can provide a URL at a product level to go back specifically to a product, to a data sheet that is specific to a product and not a category. So if you get the concept here, there's a button here for a product level link, a link on the product that goes back to the data sheet for that product, constructed like that from data that is on the product. And immediately following that, we've got a button, a similar data sheet button, but at a category level. And whoa, I picked up the wrong thing, sorry. Okay, that's the category description, provides the link for that. But we only want that to show if the data sheet link for the product is empty. So the first thing we see on the page is a button for a product level data link if one exists. Otherwise, that has empty content. It can't be retrieved, so that button simply collapses. And if the product link is empty, as this expression says, then this link, which derives from the category description, will appear instead. And that's what we actually get. So that's, you know, I didn't have to write code for that, but that is some of the stuff that you can get to happen with this product stack, with the way that it fits together. I know that's a lot to take in, but I'm hoping that you can kind of get the flavor of it and get the concept at least. Is that okay? Yeah? A thumbs up from anybody?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Russell. My goodness.
All right. So that's the kind of stuff you can do, and that's the environment that you're working in.
It needs a lot of planning, doesn't it?
Well, you got to think out your data structures. And shop work on online shops is most definitely work on a database, on an operating database. So yeah, you kind of got to be clear about your structural concept and the structure, the structure of your solution.
I remember when learning Joomla, that was one of the things to talk about, thinking about your structures of your categories and so forth. And this takes it to a whole another level, which makes
it does. Well, it shows you what you can do without having to actually crank out the editor. It shows you the kind of thing that this product set can be made to do if you have requirements for it. So, that's good. I couldn't have tackled this without the YT Pro page builder. I don't think I would have gotten away with it.
I mean, it's a very the back end, the complexity's there, but by the same token, at the front end, it's a very elegant solution. It looks nice.
Indeed. Okay, so here we've got another type of display entirely. Okay, this is a display that the customer wants, particularly for architects, because their sites are used a lot for architects. They pick products for construction projects. They pick them like they're in a shopping list or something or other. And, that they needed a highly usable and fast or responsive display to do that. So we got this stuff. This is a custom designed page. This is a section design split into fifths. Okay, with your standard UT layout, and you can do some custom editing of those columns if you have, and if you need to, and I've done that where necessary. I've got a couple of galleries here followed by headlines. These headlines go to data sheets. They don't all have order now links. I haven't got all the product data for all of this stuff at this stage. But some do. So that's a data sheet for this particular stainless steel stud. We order now. And we have gone to single category products template. Any one of these products will take us back to the data sheet we came from. Okay, so the same set of principles works across the whole site, and in theory, this kind of thing could be extended ad infinitum. I think I've probably killed that. Stair nosings is a different thing entirely. That's a different category of product, so I can't really. Oh, that another thing here. I'm sorry. Go back to the builder. These little buttons here, these are cute. Grid is a button that goes to an article. Okay, will take us to a grid view article. And there's actually an article here tucked away. What the hell? You get the idea. Grid takes us to an article that has a particular display. List takes us to a list style article. And this is a monster at the moment, but I now have hopes of simplifying this. This displays all their product images, a little cross section for the architect, and some descriptive information. They don't have order now links, most of these things, but TGSIs, for instance, the same trick has been used. Whoa, okay, lost some image there. Should come good though. And here we have a layout of the data sheets themselves. I might have to put order now buttons on these things as well, but that will be straightforward. I'm planning to replace this with a flat grid. That should be a big improvement. I should be able to eliminate all the hard coding of products and so forth. So that will help. Okay.
Russell.
Yep.
What obviously when somebody places an order, what's the handover from Virtuemart to the back office?
Well, Virtuemart just does the order, retains a copy of the sale, adjusts the inventory and so forth. What do you mean back office exactly? Do you mean a record of the sale goes to accounting?
Well, do they use this to fulfill the order? Or do they hand the order over to their back office inventory system for managing the...
Okay, all right. I think I understand. Here are orders in Virtuemart. Let's tuck that away. Okay, these are orders as taken, but their order status can be adjusted on this list. Okay, confirmed by shopper. If somebody is looking at the list of orders, and you get notified, of course, you know, the shop administrator gets a message whenever an order has been entered, gets a link back to the back end of the order so that they can manage it. But that's the system's way of telling somebody in authority that they have a new order and they need to get it packed and picked. And the progress of the order is managed. If it is, okay, because a lot of customers don't do this step, you know, that they don't do the management at the back end, but they can. Okay, you simply change the status as the order goes through its cycle, and these statuses are all tunable. You define, let me show you. Okay, this is basically the order processing cycle for this shop. You can define the codes, you can define whether or not a vendor is emailed when this particular action occurs. In other words, when an order goes from something or other to refunded. Should we email the vendor? Should we email the shopper? Should we email an attachment, which will be a copy of the order, probably a PDF copy of the order? Okay. Are people allowed to edit the order at this stage? Should stock handling be done once a refund has occurred? So that's how you tune an order process in Virtuemart. Within limits, you can set it to what you want. You can have approval steps. You can have inspection. You can insert your own stuff for HAZChem certification if you had that kind of thing. Does that answer your question? Yeah?
That's enough.
Okay. Okay. When the orders come through to Virtuemart, there is a legitimate question, of course. How do those orders get to accounts? Virtuemart itself can handle the dispatch side of things. Those order statuses are sufficient. Okay, if the warehouse or the shop does what they're supposed to do, then just changing those statuses is good enough to email everybody who needs to be emailed, to send documents to everybody who needs to be, needs to generate documents, to generate a delivery note when a shipping step has actually occurred, wherever that is in the process. So this thing can handle logistics and delivery side of things. And at the end of that whole process, you get to say completed. And then the order just goes to revenue, and you would go to maybe the sales report. What sort of reporting that you want to get out of the product, that varies, but there are extension reporting packages, some quite sophisticated ones that'll let you query reports, let you query sales by group, by category, by individual product, by different kinds of attributes and custom fields. You can get that third-party stuff that will do all of that for Virtuemart. And you can also get exporters that will suck sales data out of Virtuemart and format it in, say, a CSV for import to an accounting system. That's a common method. I have done the dynamic database to database thing at a few sites. That's custom development. Yeah, just takes work, whatever you're interfacing to. But this is Virtuemart's end of it. Essentially, that's how it handles orders. That's as far as it goes. When an order is shipped, Virtuemart is finished with it.
It's also, sorry, just to lock one thing in, you can't auto trigger like through to your accounts and so forth by steps that happen. You've got to manually change every step and
no, well, okay.
They get emailed or they don't get emailed.
The order status cycle determines the. I mean, you have to say these things. You know, when you've packed a shipment, you have to tell your system, okay, because you've got stock movements, you've got scheduling to be done, you've got trucks to be planned. You've got holding facilities, you've got all that stuff. So somebody has to specify when the events occur. Can you auto trigger those? Based on what? What would be the signal? Is there a third-party system like a dispatch system that is going to, send a web service request, or is going to call a URL? Can it be made to do that? If it can be made to do that, then Virtuemart can be made to respond. But again, that's custom work. You go as far as you want, but my experience is that most customers will probably, of this size, will probably leave it at this. They'll just get their sales figures, but they get their sales figures from the bank rather than from Virtuemart. It's a shame, but that's how it seems to be.
How does Virtuemart handle multi-warehouse situations, Russell?
Okay. Okay. Down here we've got multi-vendor cart handling. Warehouses, not so good. Virtuemart essentially only has one inventory, but what it can do is multiple vendors. And this is fairly unique. You can set Virtuemart up with these flags in such a way that you have a shop with a total inventory, and you can then effectively appoint dealers within your product space and your customer space, and you can give those dealers a measure of independence so that they can distribute their own product lines to their own customers, and they can even set their own margins and pricing. But as for multiple warehouses, that's not so. No, that's probably not a goer from. I'm sorry, there is a third-party thing. There's an extension for advanced inventory management. If I had to do it, the first cut would probably be defining custom fields on products, maybe for stock handling purposes. But really, no, probably there's only the one inventory as far as a Virtuemart shop is concerned. They're not really a warehousing concept. And when I've had to do that, I've usually had to resort to a third-party ERP system, something like front accounting. I have done. I've done interfacing for that.
How does it go with retail versus wholesale pricing on the web? Handle that all right?
Sorry, wholesale pricing?
Having retail and wholesale customers in the same interface, basically, if you're logged in as a wholesaler.
Yeah, that's no problem. That's no problem. You can have specific pricing for different customer groups, different quantity break levels, different discount levels. Yeah, you can do all that. That's out of the box. Okay. All right, I will move on. Okay, so just a few little tips. As we've said, as of Virtuemart 4.0.14, Virtuemart is a licensed product. What that means is there is still a free version available, and there will be. It will not be a current version of a single installable product. It'll be more like, you know, a demo site. And they offer 4.0.14 now as a free download of a Joomla 3.10 site, including a full install of the Virtuemart product. You can get that for nothing. You can also get the product shipment from Virtuemart's subversion, but they're just asking for site licenses at 59 euros a time. That's, you know, or, you know, larger volumes, you get cheaper rates and so forth. But when you have a license for a site, you can install that in your Virtuemart installation, and Virtuemart from that point on will update automatically with all other live updates that occur on the site. So good as far as I'm concerned. There's a new admin template, which you have seen. You've seen a little bit of that while we've been wandering around Virtuemart. And there's those new fly out and fixed navigation panels in the admin backend. There's a new front end template, which is native Bootstrap 3.4. So, you know, you don't have to live with a rubbish old demo Virtuemart template. They've actually got something that you can write Bootstrap code for, so you can do your styling in native if you want to. 4.14 includes the advanced shipping by rules plugin. I find that the Virtue Planet checkout plugin is the best choice for Stripe payments, if you want to do that on your site. And there's quite an aftermarket for Virtuemart. There would be at least a dozen sites that are providing important add-ons for Virtuemart, and all of those are steadily moving across to Joomla 4 at this stage. And I think the major ones are going to make the deadline. There's not much doubt about that. As far as VM Kit is concerned, it's a pervasive product. It customizes a lot of different areas. And if you want to use it, if you're going to use it on a site, it's pretty much essential to read the manual and understand the various bits and pieces of it. The Virtuemart overrides, let me see if I can find that. Where are we? Where are we? Oh. VM Kit X documentation. So there's all these sections of it, and they deserve to be read. You certainly, on a real shop site, you would certainly want to use the VM Kit overrides. They are documented here. Okay, and what it says is, get your plugins, get your overrides out of the VM Kit X product set and copy them to your template. I have that here. You probably can't see that. Hang on. Okay. Here's where the overrides live under plugins, system, VM Kit X override. There's a subdirectory here for dynamic elements. You don't want that. But what lives under HTML override, you will want these things to support various different non-Yootheme functions throughout the site. There's overrides here for user pages, for vendor pages, for product details. Okay, these overrides would apply wherever there's a Joomla menu item that says that it wants to use the native Virtuemart product details layout, and these overrides would apply to that. As well as that, there's a bunch of overrides for native Virtuemart modules if you use those. And the search is a particular area. This is a simple search, but you can also get Ajax searches that show little product thumbnails and highlighted displays and so forth, and they do the incremental search thing, so they show a palette of these products as you type into product search. That can be handy for navigation on a site that has a lot of products. It can be very hard to find things, so you maybe want an Ajax search in those circumstances. Otherwise, this is the native one that you'll get on your site, whether it's on Yootheme pages or not. Those bits and pieces, the ones that you want, need to go to the template Yootheme, into the HTML directory, which is where all overrides live. Okay, and we will find somewhere here. Ah, yeah, it's all under com Virtuemart. Okay, all these things here. Okay, these are the HTML overrides that belong to VMUI kit. So the moral of this story is don't forget to copy them over. There's the link to the documentation. And I find that after every extension update to VMUI kit on a site, okay, my standard practice is to copy all of those overrides over again, just in case they've been updated by the VMUI kit update. If it was, I just do them all and then I don't have to worry about which ones I've modified. And I can rely on the Joomla 4 version checker, the new updated files checker, that override thing, to tell me when there have been changes to things that I care about in those override directories. But I'm lazy and I just copy them all every time. If you need to be specific, then you've got to do your own version management on the bits and pieces that you've actually brought across and modified. Now, the checkout page on a shop site is always a key pressure point. It's the most complex, most secure, most heavily encrypted point in the site. So the Joomla Pro one-page checkout plugin comes with a product, but it is also complex, okay, and you need to spend a bit of time and give it a bit of care and testing to get that part of it right. I will see if I can show you where that lives. Got lots of stuff going on here. Okay, I can't. Or can I? Nope. All right. So, that's plugin like any other, and you manage it with the plugin management screens in the back end. But there's a lot of stuff to it. There's, country codes, there's currency codes, various different certifications for different jurisdictions, tax rates, colors, sizes, behavior. Yep. So that's an area that you've got to have a bit of focus on. In addition to that, if you're doing good SEO for the shop site, then that needs special effort. You'll need to do a fair bit of content work to customize the meta keywords and descriptions on the Virtuemart product pages themselves. And you'll also want to define the checkout page in Google Analytics so that Google knows how to manage and track the behavior around checkout functioning so that it can detect things like abandoned carts, restored carts, that type of thing. So that's pretty much a must. You know, you're not going to get any useful SEO if you don't, at a minimum, define the checkout page. And a separate account menu at the top right, as you've seen on most of these sites, is a neat way to handle all of those non-Yootheme functions, the native Joomla 4 functions that customers want. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much. Over to you.
All stunned.
It's incredible.
I don't know about incredible.
Well, it is from my perspective.
Quick question for you, Russell.
Yeah.
With your Virtuemart add-ons, are you using anything that's not kind of Yootheme compatible, friendly, that you still have to kind of wrangle old style?
Well, yeah, I use plugins. I use Virtuemart plugins for shop functions for sure. I mean, at a minimum, you've got a one-page checkout plugin. You have to deal with that. You know, what's a shop without one of those things? But there's others. The search plugin, the Ajax search plugin I mentioned, that's, you know, another one. I use pricing, discounting functions, buy them from the Virtuemart marketplace. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Really, it's not Joomla 4 that's given me most of the problems with these sites. It's PHP 8 that's really been a pain in the rear end. And a lot of plugins fail on PHP 8. It's not that hard to get a plugin into Joomla 4, but getting it past PHP 8 is a different matter entirely.
8.0, but 8.1 and 8.2 create issues, and mainly when I'm using Yoothemes. If I'm not using Yoothemes, I don't have so many problems.
Okay. All right. I'll take your word for it. I'm still on 8.0. I got a program to move to 8.1, but all the Joomla 4 conversions, they take first place now. Everything's got to get through Joomla 4 before August.
Yep.
Russell, have you done any, like obviously to be custom, but have you done any integrations with point of sale systems like that might be used in store?
I did for a customer that I had out in the country at one stage. He set up an on-site shop and had a form of point of sales. I did that with front accounting, and I wrote some code, you know, used those facilities, and I had Virtuemart integrated for it so that he actually had a production cycle for the plants that he was growing in his nursery when he brought them out for sale. That was actually a delivery step for the manufacturing process from front accounting to Virtuemart. From then on, Virtuemart sold them, and I tacked on a little bit of point of sale so that he could do some product label scanning over the counter. And that all went back to the sales. So,
are there any third-party integrations sold for Virtuemart with retail POS systems?
They are, but the quality is uneven, and it's all going to come down to individual cases.
Yeah.
You know, what is it we're dealing with? Integration is just a snake pit. I've done it all my life. It never gets easy. It's always, you know, what are the rules? Where's the data? It's just brain work. So what can I tell you? There's nothing off the shelf if that's what you want, but then there are no off-the-shelf solutions for integration.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Okay, no questions?
No more questions.
So I did notice, so the UX is still as rough and ready as it's always been for Virtuemart.
I'm sorry, say again.
The UX, the user interface for the back end of Virtuemart is still a bit as rough and ready as it's always been in the.
No, well, you've been looking at it and it's much improved.
There's still some improvements, but there's still things that are out of alignment and stuff like that, which,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's the back end, so it doesn't really specifically matter. But
It's a lot better. That's all I can tell you. It's
Yeah.
a lot better. It's a lot smoother. It's a lot easier and nicer to use. But yes, it's an open source project. You know, chaos is the rule. Now that they've actually got a funding base, maybe some of that will change.
Russell, do they provide Virtuemart for WordPress as well? I'm thinking, as you said, a lot of
No,
effort's gone
not
into
a
that.
chance. Not a chance. WooCommerce owns WordPress or vice versa, whatever it is. We don't want to go there.
No,
We really
it's
don't.
system. It obviously, just as you said, a lot of effort's gone into it, and I'm just thinking the market for Virtuemart.
Yep.
It's
No,
pretty
I wouldn't.
big
I
in
wouldn't
Europe,
want.
I think, Virtuemart, isn't it, Russell?
Sorry.
It's pretty big in Europe, Virtuemart. Like, it has a pretty large customer base in Europe.
Yes. Yes. Oh, it's a German project. They've got at a minimum hundreds of thousands of operating shops. You know, there's a gallery there for them that they don't post religiously because they're all open source people. But take my word for it, there's a lot of shops and there's some serious ones too.
Russell, just a quick question. With Yoothemes, they've got the, what's it called, Commerce Shop, which has been done alongside Yoothemes now. Bought it and made a commercial.
Yep.
And it's out of beta. I haven't actually tested it, but
I've had a look at a couple of the alternatives. They don't meet my needs.
yeah, no, I'm
That's
talking
all I
about
can tell you.
specifically dedicated, not one of the e-shops or anything. This is one that's been done from Yoothemes, but that's why I'm interested.
You're talking
Yes.
about Commerce Lab.
Integrated into Yoothemes.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
not actually, it's not made by Youtheme though.
No, it got bought out. We used to run with Yoothemes, and then another guy bought the project out, if you like, and is running it fully commercial outside of Yoothemes now, but it's still run with some of the same programmers and so on. Of Yoothemes still work on the project as well.
Indeed. There's a thing called Pro2 Store. I think that's, and there might be another one too that I have seen. In my opinion, and you can take this, you know, with a grain of salt, you can take this, you know, on the surface. The weakness of those shops of Pro2 Store is the fact that it is based on articles. Articles are not products. You need product specific data. We're in a shop, we're dealing with data, we're not dealing with content, and you don't want things that are limited to the basically to the data processing model of articles. So Pro2, in my opinion, Pro2 Store will fall down on that point alone. We will see how far they get with features. And again, you know, any data processing system that is based on articles had better follow the rules for articles, or else it ain't going to work.
Yeah, I think it's actually called Commerce Lab these days.
Yep.
It is Commerce Lab, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Have they got product data in there? Have they, you know, structured
I
it
don't
properly?
think it is based on Joomla articles anymore. They've kind of rebuilt it from the ground up, and it's
Good.
kind of native view theme, I guess, is what they argue. But I haven't had a proper play with it because, you know, you've basically got to buy a subscription to have a decent play with it.
All right. Okay.
But it looks Flash, looks really nice.
Oh, yeah.
View theme native, but you know, whether it has the grunt under the hood is, you know, another question, certainly.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like it's still, honestly, probably about 2 years away from being even close to having Virtuemart's functionality.
Yeah. Look, I just wouldn't be writing a new shop system in this day and age. You know, the generation of users that we are dealing with now want things essentially on mobile phone platforms. And basically rental model, subscription model services are going to win that fight in the end. There's a place for boutique shops, for small to medium businesses. There's a case to be made for it, and certainly a good case with this kind of kit. But I wouldn't be writing any new shop systems right now. I think that would be a bit of an uphill battle.
Well, they're having a crack.
Yeah, good on them.
They
Good
did
on
get they got some funding a little while ago, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. They found someone who was willing to give them some cash. So
Oh, there's no shortage of them, is there?
no, you just got to have the right pitch, don't you?
Mm. Okay, well, that's just my opinion anyway. But
Yeah,
I don't.
I was really impressed with the builder elements there, Russell. I looked like the VM UIX kit stuff or UX kit stuff, and being able to use dynamic content in Virtuemart, that's very cool.
Yeah, yeah, and the ecosystem is so nice. I mean, you can just write bootstrap code anywhere in the Virtuemart products. If you're running under VM UI kit, then you can write UI kit code
UI kit.
anywhere in your products, and just style your content right there inside the shop if you feel like it. So, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Russell. That was awesome. Nice seeing a presentation someone who put some effort into for a change.
Oh, dig.
Having a dig at myself there, Robert.
Yeah, still.
Hope it made
Mind you,
sense.
Russell's been putting this one together for 9 months. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is basically the end point of 18 months of work ever since, Joomla 4 beta. So, yeah, but there it is. There it is, and it's here.
That's good, mate.
Now we got it.
That's good.
So I've thrown it in the chat. The VM UI kit's €75 per year.
Yeah, that's 6 months, 6 months at a time.
And then they've got a bunch of other Yootheme Pro extensions I see for different things as well. Those that are using that might want to look at. And then Virtuemart 4 is starts at €59 for one site and up to €298 for 9 sites.
Yep.
As their platinum deal. So
Yeah, and those are permanent licenses for the domain or the site subdomain, if that's where you do the licenses. So that's good for life. Can't argue with that.
Oh, sorry,
I want them to charge more.
sorry, I thought that was a 12-month.
Nah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It is 12 months. I beg your pardon. I
I
beg
was
your
going to
pardon.
say, I hate the 6-month subscription.
Yeah.
What is up with that? Really?
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's all good. And then there's a 20% discount on renewing it by the looks of it. But yeah.
I've used a couple of their other Yootheme products, and they're excellent.
Oh, they're definitely one of the top class shops, Joomla Pro.
Yeah.